Hey guys, thanks for watching Beyond Science. It's Mike Chen. If you watch my vlog channel, then you'll know that the Grand Canyon is one of my favorite places in the world. I love to go hiking or just sit there admiring its beauty. Non-creepily, of course. Now, if you didn't know, the Grand Canyon is pretty big. It's 277 miles long, up to 18 miles wide, and over 6,000 feet deep. And every time I go there, I don't know, it just has this mysterious spiritual vibe to it. I feel like there are so many mysteries within the Grand Canyon. You know, one of the reasons I wanted the superpower of teleportation, if I could have any superpower, it's just so I can go explore the Grand Canyon, because I don't know if you've seen them or not, but I see these like random cave openings in the distance and I always wonder what's inside. What would I find? Maybe some ancient cave paintings, hidden treasures, a sleeping bear, I don't know. But recently I was sent a story that I can't believe I never came across. It's a story that was featured on the front page of the April 5th, 1909 edition of the Arizona Gazette, which talked about the discovery of an underground city that was found in the Marble Canyon region of the Grand Canyon. You know, I don't do conspiracy theories all that often, but this story is so interesting. So according to the news article, an explorer named G.E. Kincaid, who was funded by the Smithsonian, was going down the Colorado River alone, and in his words, he was looking for minerals. And by minerals, I think he means gold, because gold mining was forbidden at the Grand Canyon at the time, so he couldn't just come out and say it. Anyway, Kincaid was looking for his minerals when he spotted stains in the rock formation about 2,000 feet above the riverbed, approximately 40 miles upriver from Crystal Canyon. There he said he saw a cave entrance that is 1,486 feet down from a cliff. The cave was hard to spot and extremely hard to get to, but Kincaid went in because, you know, he's got to have his minerals. Anyway, he went in and found something remarkable and history-changing. Kincaid then collected some of the items he discovered, shipped them back to the Smithsonian back in DC, and shortly after, 30 to 40 archaeologists were sent by the Smithsonian and led by Professor S.A. Jordan. Further explorations were made, and according to Kincaid, they found long passageways connecting hundreds of rooms. The rooms were about the size of ordinary living rooms of today, though some are 30 by 40 feet square. These are entered by oval-shaped doors and are ventilated by round air spaces through the walls into the passages. The walls were about 3 feet 6 inches in thickness, and inside the rooms were all sorts of artifacts such as weapons, copper instruments, and here is where it gets mind-blowing. Some of the rooms contained artifacts as described in the article as, quote, doubtless had their origin in the Orient, including a big Buddha statue sitting cross-legged with a lotus flower or lily in each hand. In other rooms, ancient Egyptian artifacts were found, such as vases or urns and cups of copper and gold. Carved on all the urns over doorways and tablets of stone are mysterious hieroglyphics, and in one of the largest chambers, mummies were discovered. Some of the mummies were covered with clay and all were wrapped in a bark fabric. All the mummies examined have proved to be male. There were no children or female being buried there. This leads to the belief that this section was the warriors' barracks. Now, this underground citadel was so humongous, it was estimated that around 50,000 people could have lived there comfortably. So if this is real, think about it. All the history books from around the world is gonna change, because not only will we have to reevaluate the sea-bearing abilities of the ancient Egyptians, it would challenge everything we think we know about our own history. Not just about who made it first to the Americas, but we would also have to consider what else have we missed? What might we find tomorrow or next week that could completely change something else that we are teaching in our history books? And what's so interesting about this is that, let's say this is real. Ancient civilizations from Asia and Egypt went on vacation because they heard about how awesome the Grand Canyon is. They came, thought it was beautiful, and decided to stay. Let's assume that happened. Now, if you start examining some historical stories and legends from China, from Egypt, and the Native Americans in the area, then it all sort of connects together. For example, when we think of the ancient Egyptians nowadays, we think of these people living in the desert, but the Egyptians had very advanced sea-bearing capabilities. We know this because in 2011, ancient docks and ships were found on the coast of the Red Sea at Mersagawasis that once launched voyages onto the open ocean. Other evidences are scenes carved into the walls of ancient Egyptian temples, which tell of a remarkable sea voyage. A fleet of cargo ships bearing exotic plants, animals, and precious incense navigates through high ocean waves on a journey from a mysterious land known as Punt, or Land of the God. Researchers were never quite sure where Punt was, but I guess it's possible it could be the Grand Canyon. Also, in local local Native American lore, the Hopi Indians have lived in the Grand Canyon area for thousands of years. They have a legend that tells the story of the Ant people who during times of disaster helped the Hopi and escorted them into subterranean caves where they found refuge and food. The Ant people were said to be generous and very advanced. They gave the Hopi food and taught them all about food storage. Also, let's bring this interesting bit of information into this discussion. In 1992, a German researcher, Dr. Svetlana Balabanova, was examining Egyptian mummies that were over 3,000 years old when she found what appeared to be cocaine and tobacco on one of the mummies. And this is strange because cocaine and tobacco could only be found in the Americas at that time. And it wasn't until the Victorian era in the 1900s that it was transported to Egypt. Of course, when Dr. Balabanova announced her findings, it was met with, I think, harsh criticism, was even putting it mildly. She was even getting death threats, but she stuck to her findings because she knew everything she did in her test was correct. The hate and the trolling continued until a very prominent researcher, Dr. Rosalie David, conducted the same test and it proved her right. So if you think about it, mummies that were thousands of years old had cocaine and tobacco on them from a land far, far across the ocean that they really had no access to. So I guess there's only a couple of scenarios here. Either the ancient Egyptians went to the Americas, or some ancient civilization in the Americas brought them to Egypt. So now you must be wondering, well, if the Smithsonian was involved, where's the official report? Where are the artifacts? Well, here's the thing. The World Explorers Club decided to check on the story by calling the Smithsonian in DC. They reached a staff archaeologist who said, quote, "The first thing I can tell you before we go any further is that no Egyptian artifacts of any kind have ever been found in North or South America. Therefore, I can tell you that the Smithsonian Institute has never been involved in any such excavations." Of course, no record of Kincaid or Jordan were ever found in connection to the Smithsonian, and no one really knows what happened to them. So here's the question then. If this was all true, why would a museum suppress this information? I don't really have a good answer to this. The only thing that comes to mind is that the government doesn't want shocking discoveries, informations leaked to the public, maybe because it wants to retain stability. Maybe governments don't want the masses to question institutions such as our school systems, but maybe they don't want that because once we start questioning our history classes, then maybe we start questioning everything we learned about physics, about chemistry, and that would somehow shake the foundation of our society. But I don't know, guys, that's just what I think. And I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this. Do you believe that this ancient city actually exists inside the Grand Canyon? Also, if this does exist and it was discovered, why would the Smithsonian be trying to cover it up? Also, guys, I've been getting quite a few messages telling me that somehow many of you have been unsubscribed from this channel by YouTube, which is crazy, but I know there's some stuff going on with YouTube right now. So if you guys like this channel, you like the videos, and you want to know when a new video gets posted, then please don't just subscribe. Also click on that little bell icon there, and that'll make sure you'll get a notification every time I post a new video. And please do this even if you are already subscribed to this channel. I don't know why this is so troublesome. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. See you.